I like to travel a lot. You know what I'm saying? I like to travel a lot. I like to, I speak dogmatically about certain things. Like, it goes beyond that shit. Like, I'm a Leo, I'm very proud, you know what I'm saying? I'm an Aquarius, I'm very eccentric. Hi, I'm Bob kind of thing. This It goes beyond that. It gets into, like, there are books that you could get that gets into the spiritual aspect of astrology, like, really understanding. And in the very beginning of this book, you know, it links he's linking the 12 disciples. So I'm trying to get to it. Yeah, right here. Faith is Peter, and faith is in the center of the brain. Strength is in the loins, which is Andrew. The pit of the stomach is James, the son of Zebedee, which governs discrimination or judgment. Love, which is John, is seated in the back of the heart. Power, or Philip, is the root of the tongue. Imagination, or Bartholomew, between the eyes. So the psychic eye, the first eye, which most of you still continue to this day called the third eye. It's not the third eye. It's the first eye. Stop fucking calling it the third eye. It's not the fucking third eye. I told you motherfuckers it's not the third eye. But hold on, no. I don't think I ever uploaded that video. My bad. But for real, catch up. Understanding, Thomas, the front brain. Will, Matthew, the center front brain. Order, James, son of Alphaeus, the navel. Zeal, Simon the they say the Canaanite. I'll take that as Canaanite. Simon governs zeal, which is the back head, the medulla. Renunciation or elimination, Thaddeus, the abdominal region. Life conserver. So apparently these are the 12 powers. So I assume, as you know, the passage continues throughout, he's going to, get deeper into the breakdown of this, because he doesn't break down too much. He just giving an overview. So the abdominal region, Thaddeus, renunciation or elimination. Life conserver, which is Judas. And the anatomy is the generative function. That's what they call it, the generative function. The physiological designation of these faculties are not arbitrary. The names can be expanded or changed to suit a broader understanding of their full nature. For example, Philip, at the root of the tongue, governs taste. He also governs the action of the larynx, as well as hold on, because it's about to go in, as well as hold on, make sure I read this right, as well as all vibrations of power throughout the organism. And the term power expresses but a small part of his official capacity. The first apostle that Jesus called was Peter. Peter represents faith in things spiritual, faith in God. We begin our religious experience, our unity with divine mind, by having faith in that mind as omnipresent, all-wise, all-loving, all-powerful spirit. Faith in the spiritual man quickens spiritual understanding. Peter believed that Jesus was the Messiah. Okay. Let me stop right there. Okay. I was trying to give out more information, but and I thought he was about to go into some more stuff, but this is starting to get a little romantic. Bartholomew represents the imagination. The imagination has a center of action directly between the eyes. This is the point of expression for a set of tissues that extend back into the brain and connect with an imaging or picture-making function near the root of the optic nerve. Okay, see, now that's the shit that I like. But these wasn't the points that I wanted to make. I don't even remember the point that I wanted to make. Started to get caught into this shit. But yeah, this book is decent. I like this author. He also has a book breaking down the metaphysics of the Bible, which I also have in PDF. But the shit's so fire, I'll fuck around and order a real copy. And then Black Goddess in the Unseen Real. That's another one. I got that joint. It costs a bit to get, but it's decent from what I read so far. Like I dabble in a lot of my books. Like I just like having variety. Like I'll get 4 or 5 different books on the same subject. Like I got several dream dictionaries, books on palmistry, several books on the numbers. I used to make up my own divination systems. It's real easy. You just have to have a real open mind and understand systems. That's another thing that numbers are useful for. When you understand numbers and you understand sequences, you can use a specific number to create your own system. So, based upon the function of that number. A great example of this is the use of magic squares. But as far as divination go, I got this book on angel numbers. An angelic book of like something like that. It's a small book. It's sitting right over here. I don't feel like getting my ass up to go get it though. But it starts with the number 0, goes to number 999. A sister from Atlanta will tell you how I used it to divinate for her and her king and their relationship. Apparently the reading was on point. To this day they're having, they live a wonderful life. They're still together happily. You know what I'm saying? So it's on point. I did a reading on Facebook just to determine people who would, like, a bunch of women kept asking would they get married. Shit, a cold reader could tell you motherfuckers no. Which is what I got from the system I was using. I kept receiving a no. But the system has some validity to it because, some people were getting valid responses. And it wasn't until I linked this system to the use of the planetary hours. I used the planetary hours along with the system of number. And now that I'm trying to remember exactly how it all went about. It was basically like where, and it was really dope. Like the very first message that you would send me, like in the DMs or whatever, the very first message, that sentence, I would break down that sentence. Because obviously you are pouring your thoughts onto a page, and your thought have energy attached to it. You know, you had a specific idea, a specific intention in your mind when you said what the fuck you said, and a nigga who knows what he's doing can break that shit down. And when you link that with the planetary hours at that moment, and it doesn't even have to be because we're all in different places across the world, so the planetary time in my location is going to be different in your location. And at first, initially, I thought that would be a concern, but apparently not, which is why I say it all depends on you as the observer. I use my fucking planetary hours, the planetary hours it was in my location, and the shit still fucking resonated. So I did that. You know, I broke they shit down to numbers, you know, the planetary hours. I think I did the first letter. You know what I'm saying? This shit is truly an art form. Like, it, you know, it's almost poetic. Same thing like doing the life path. I wanted to know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to go beyond the life path, like, cause you have to add all these numbers to make a life path. You have to add all the numbers to your birthday to make a life path. But what the fuck, or what are each of these numbers? You know, how do these numbers compare to one another? What are their relationship? I don't hear any dialogue going into the relationship shared between, you know, we all want to combine these numbers, but these numbers aren't just fucking abstracts. They are alive. They are living entities. So when you put them together, you are already assuming that they are resonating well with each other. But the deeper you study, you realize that not every fucking number resonates well with each other. Blacks don't always get along with fucking Mexicans. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, Russia hasn't always, you know, still don't fucking get along with America like that. You know, shit like that. Like, you gotta really look at the, like, this is kind of personifying a little bit. And in a sense, I guess it would help a lot if we start personifying these abstract concepts that we have, these principles that we have, so that we could have a real, you know, a better understanding of what the fuck we're dealing with. These aren't just abstract. These aren't just, you know what I'm saying, these aren't just cold, dead things. And of course, once again, this shows and prove why it is so important for the fucking original man and the original woman, the black man and the black woman, to start studying this shit. Because when we study and present this shit, it goes way beyond fucking commercial use, like these Faith Javane motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you know, like you can really feel what the fuck I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? I read shit that, you know, I read shit that the devil presents, and it doesn't do nothing. Like, it's like fucking tofu. You know what I'm saying? And even here, the tofu is shit because it's synthetic. So, you know, you need this. You know, you need to get into the real. But I'm going off track. Like I want to know the relationship between these entities. You know what I'm saying? How does the 12 relate to the 6, and, you know, shit like that? Or the 3 relate to this, you know what I'm saying? Not only the numbers themselves, but the numbers of the placements. This shit can get deep. Like, the first of anything carries a signature of the 1 dynamic. The second of anything, like, yo, this shit is fucking phenomenal. Like, I've gone to work, and you have to sign your name on the paper, and the sheet of paper is lined from number 1 to number 28. So, assuming that the maximum capacity of people that you want to work on the production line, because I work in a factory, a warehouse, to work on the production line is 28 tops. So people coming and they signing their name. I would notice the number that I would sign my fucking name on would set the tone on what goes down at work, like how my day would play out on the job. Now, why does this work? Oh, why is that? That is because, once again, you have to understand the nature of the cipher. What is a cipher? A cipher is any person, place, or thing. Every job that you go into or that you sign up for, you aren't just signing up to go to work. You are setting up a contract between yourself as an entity and this entity, which is such and such company, like the company of such and such. That is an entity. That is a living entity. And each worker in there is like the cells to this great body, this great mass body. So, as an entity, you are functioning as a is whatever the fuck, like you are like the energy that keeps the place going. They need your energy. So when you step into that cipher, you're essentially stepping into a whole nother universe. So the time that you clock in, where you sign your name at, you can even watch the number of, like, if you're driving around on a machine, the number of the machine, the number that's on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything is fucking everything. So, like, like the shit is phenomenal. But yeah, I signed my name and it set the tone. Remember back when I did a video on breaking down the numbers of people's addresses, how understanding the numbers of a person's address will understand the tone of what's going down in that house. What are the energies that set the tone within that household. The placement is important. So I want to understand the placement of these numbers. Like, what is the significance of the month number? What is the significance of the day number? What is the significance of the year number? I started, and there are no books on shit like, I haven't found any books or any author, any fucking body in the devil's community, the God's conscious community, whatever. Haven't heard anybody anywhere take it this far. So when you have that dilemma, what else for you to do but to go within yourself? And I went within myself. I wanted to know instantly. I got it. I said fuck it. Okay. And somewhere in this room, I came up with a whole fucking, like, a small booklet detailing, like, the layout of what a true what we are going to call it the new revised numerology chart, because there is really no such thing as a numerology chart that I've seen. The closest that I've seen was from Hans Decause. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his weird fucking name right, but Hans Decause. I fucks with, like, matter of fact, I keep forgetting I got the computer here. I'm gonna pull up his chart. That shit is beautiful. Like, I love I love how it's designed. I love the design of it. Like, that shit is vivid. Shit, I'll sit there and study it just so I could, you know what I'm saying, like, and it has so much fucking detail in, like, the shit is crazy. I might order one of his books, but the way it looks, like how my spirit feel when I look at it, I'm like, I don't know if he's really gonna go into a whole lot, but I'm open. But let me see. But I came up with a whole like little booklet of like the layout on what each placement is describing, like, you know, the Pythagorean system goes into breaking down your name. So your full name will be like the destiny or expression. Sometimes they mix the terms up, you know, but yeah, you have, I think, 5 core numbers. So you're breaking down the core numbers. But what are the core within the core? Because each piece comes together to build it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I think. But hold on, numerology chart, Heinz, decars, and we're going to go to images. So yeah, this shit, I don't know if y'all see it. That shit is fucking beautiful. Like, I love how that looks. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I get a better view. Oh, it ain't what I thought it was. Okay. Like, I love that shit. Like the colors, the you know, the different geometric, like, that shit's crazy. Like, you see the birthday right there. Like, you know, they even use the pyramid. Dude even doing a little pyramid shit. Like, that's what I was using to. That's how I got my job. It's not my dream job. I don't. My dream isn't to be in a plantation, but you know, the thing about this shit is, as you're building towards things like that, you got to get in where you fit in, and you want to make, even though our end goal isn't to stick around in this physicality, to stick around in this bullshit, but at least while we're here, to make our stay, to make our stay more comfortable, more manageable. So shit, I use this shit to help me get a job. I've done that many a times where I time, where the condition, where I timed it to where the conditions were right. Just using numbers, just using numbers. You know what I'm saying? But doubt is a fucking frequency, and if you know what I'm saying, if you're doubtful, you could do the same thing I'm doing, but if you're not reflecting my cipher, then it might not work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way my cipher, the way my shit is set up, the shit works for me, and that's all that matters. So get in where you fit in. If it works for you, then cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you're the type of person who feel like his time is better spent in blood, sweat, and tears, the feeling that I've earned this. I go out and struggle. I struggle for mine. We all fucking struggle, but you know what I'm saying? Like, work smart, not hard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm open to all suggestions, and should the numbers help me, it might just help you, nigga. But yeah. So the the birth month, the birth month will tell you, basically. It will tell you. It will reveal to you the conditions of what was pretty much like who, if not who, because it could have been any fucking body, but how you were impacted and what message was given to you in your younger years. And that makes perfect sense, because anybody who does a typical numerology chart, when you get into the pinnacles and the challenges, The first numbers you combine is the month number and the day number. So how uncanny it is that the the principle that you receive from the union of those two dynamics um, resonate with your formal years from birth up until your early adulthood or however the fuck that shit works out. So that span of time. So anybody with common sense knows that that is a period of time of growth and development. So obviously during that time span you're going to be like a sponge that is taking in the environment around you. So of course it would make sense if the month number would be those who influenced you, and the birthday number would be what you know what I'm saying, what you inherited, like what you know what I'm saying, what is within you. You know what I'm saying? So that which is outside of you affecting you, that which is sort of you, like that which is naturally you, or what you naturally gifted with. That's why they say the birthday number is like your gift number and shit like that. And then the year number. Now some systems, like there are some techniques that you do where um you don't use all four of the digits of the birthday. So there is a specific meaning. I haven't figured it out yet. Um, because it is four digits, an idea that I have in the mind links the four elements or some shit like that. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. I do know it's related to. Um, I do know that it's related to the like the conditions of life, like what life get, like your birth month is what those surrounding you gives to you, you know, shit like that. The year is going to like hint like what life at large, like on a larger scale, you know, gives to you. So and you are in the center of that. So you know the birthday, you know, it's you. um the challenges, like the pinnacles is like the opportunity. So you add on, you bring those two dynamics together, you get your result. The challenges is when you do the opposite and subtract. And this is where you start understanding your dissonance. What causes your dissonance? What do you need to work on? So when dealing with metaphysics, A is not just for fucking Apple, right? You know, violets aren't fucking violet when it comes to metaphysics. So when it comes to the numbers, you have to deal with the number spectrum. There is a spectrum to the number. When you hear spectrum, you think colors. You may even think sound if you're more advanced. But numbers is a spectrum. Hell, there's a spectrum to you. When I imagine a spectrum, I visualize a continuum of myself. Like, here is myself that you see, and then there's a continuum, you know, an infinitude of me. Like, how have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and there is a mirror next to that mirror that is like folded, and then you turn that one mirror to that mirror so that they face each other, and you're there, and then it's like a endless, it's almost creepy, like it literally spans into like darkness. You know what I'm saying? There's a pathway of just, you know, it's just an infinite reflection into infinity. So that is what this is. So one isn't just unity. One can also be lack of unity, right? Um, you know, so that's the idea you got to have in your mind. Um, so when you understand your challenges, you understand the dynamics that may be missed. Like, I could do me, for example. My challenge in my formal year was centered around the principle of three. When I reflect on my experiences, through me understanding the meaning of three, um, I wasn't really social like that, or I was social, but I was kind of like, I had moments where I was very social, which obviously, of course, that deals with, the timing of things. Uh, when you study the clusters, when you are observing the different clusters, um, you know, moments in time that resonate with you more than others. Um, at large, I was always like socially awkward. I didn't really fit in like that. Um, so my challenge is not because my challenge was a three, but um, that three being revealed is going to be a sign. You could take it as a sign. So socially awkward, um, but every problem has a a continuum that leads to probable solutions, and a continuum, what I'm saying, it could go. That's where the that's where choice come in, because in the end of it all, you have to choose. You have to choose the route you're going to take, the path that you wish to reflect within that infinite continuum. So, um, so socially awkward, but also, not only socially awkward, but someone who doesn't really speak up for themselves, someone who doesn't really communicate that well, even till recent times. Like, I'm just now, what I'm saying, like I said, I don't normally do shit like this. I normally have a hard time articulating my thoughts in this type of manner to where I can break shit down like the way I'm breaking it down right now. Like, before, I used to get on video and start saying something and be like, shit, it ain't, like, I'm not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, um, but then too, you know, I've recently done some things to line my energy back up and to put shit back online. So, um, yeah, everything is everything. Like I said, um, socially awkward, poor communication, but also too, the fact that it is a negative not only can be taken in a negative context, but can also be taken into a positive context, and one must consider the spectrum. So, and not only that, as that, but also psychology. What activities does one engage in when he is socially awkward and doesn't really speak up for himself? Aren't these type of people who are more inclined to, say, writing their thoughts down? You see what I'm saying? So you have a pot. So those challenges there are ways to overcome your challenges. If because people want to think fatalistic sometimes, like, shit, my numbers are like this, so, oh man, so that means it's all bad. Not really. Like, if you know your child is going to be socially awkward, that he's going to be, he's not really going to express himself in the open, then encourage his expression, his underground, you know what I'm saying, his expression on the DL, his DL expressions. You know what I'm saying? Encourage his writing. You know what I'm saying? I may have been socially awkward, but I was I'm a very good writer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I write poetry. You know what I'm saying? I express myself. I express. Now, when I think negative, because you're using a negative, that's the challenge. You're subtracting, so it is a negative. So when I think negative, I think that which is submerged. So these are hinting to subconscious implications. These have implications of the subconscious mind. This has implications to anything that is submerged and underground or an undercurrent. So it's kind of like when Panic was talking about the Calippo, the tree of, you know what I'm saying, the the Calipothic tree as the pretty much um, the primal forces that drive the tree of life. So it's kind of like the same thing. This is like the challenge is like the backside to the pinnacle. You see what I'm saying? The challenge is like the backside to the pinnacle. So I don't even remember what my pinnacle was in my formal years. So let's see. Oh, it was a 9. Was it a 9? Yeah, it was a 9. So yeah, and that makes perfect sense now that I think about it. Um, and mind you, as you know, we're considering these things. Also to consider, that that you should also consider. Damn. Shit. Like, I'm still talking, but then too it's late. It's like 2 in the morning. Um. Anyway, back to the challenges. So you will want to encourage that seed bed, because that's another way you can look at it. It's a seed bed. So there is a lot of room for growth. So it's just a matter of using these numbers to understand which resonates with you and which doesn't resonate. So imagine how far, imagine how much more imagine how much progress and how much hurt I could have avoided in life had I understood these things prior and just poured all my attention into my writing. Like, okay, this nigga is socially awkward, so I'm not going to force him and encourage him to go out there and try to meet people and try to put himself on the spot like that. I'm going to encourage him to I'm going to encourage him to, because mind you, these qualities